War Eagle War Rapport family, I'm your host, C-Dub. Auburn has 9 players selected to Athlon's All-SEC team. We'll discuss that, as well as Auburn Baseball heading to Omaha to face Ole Miss this weekend. We'll discuss that as well and more in tonight's Midweek Report. War Eagle, everyone. War Eagle, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. All of the fellas are here, and we want to welcome you guys to the latest and greatest Midweek Report, brought to you by our show sponsor, AuburnSports.com. For the latest in regarding recruiting and all of your sports needs, please be sure to head over to AuburnSports.com. Of course, shout out to JG Tate for showing us love, actually being one of our day ones in terms of support. Shout outs to you. Thanks again for your support. Also, we want to thank you guys for hanging out with us, whether it's live or on replay. We appreciate you. Do us a favor, share this video. If you're on social media, that is Facebook and Twitter, share this video. Please use hashtag get your weight up and help people to find our content, help us to grow our community. Also, please do us a favor and like this video. All right. Don't be lurking. Smash that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Now, in terms of being a patron, you need to become one. Someone's going to tell you all about it.
Yeah, I got it because I want y'all to do it expeditiously. All right, man. Y'all already know, man. We got a lot of great things that are happening right now with the War Report. Become a patron right now. $5.99 is going to get you there to get some of that special content. Membership level to support is $3.99. If you're on an iPhone and you're joining from there, it is an additional $1, just so you're aware. But that's not us. That's iPhone making that happen. But you can get on board with us and get some of this great content that we've got coming up, which right now, Al Borges has got an interview that he's doing with us that you guys can go out there and check out starting tomorrow. So if you are not a member, then you have not had an opportunity to hear this great interview with Al Borges, but that is going on live tomorrow for everybody. But for non-members, you already have the opportunity to listen to that right now. In addition, you've got the John Samuel Shanker interview, which is live right now for all of our members. So you guys can go check that out. But tomorrow, Al Borges is going live for everybody else. Tonight, we are giving away, as always, something. And we're going to do another mug tonight. You guys seem to like the mug. So War Eagle Oil is our sponsor tonight for our giveaway. So we've got that hashtag get your weight up in the comments to be able to get this free War Rapport mug that is available for you right now. Also, War Eagle Oil hit me up and they said that they wanted to do a second giveaway. So we got 2 giveaways popping off. I'll tell you about the other one here in just a minute, but we got another giveaway going on for some product from War Eagle Oil. We'll get into that a little bit later, but for right now, hashtag get your weight up in the comments if you want to get that free War Rapport mug.
Thank you, Ike. Fellas, y'all doing good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Could be expected, yeah.
Good to be expected. Before we get into anything, Jazzy, wait, hold on. We got to do it right. Jazzy, great to have you on our show, good sir. There's a challenge baked into your comments, so let's do it right.
Yeah. Welcome to another Jazzy Challenge.
So Jazzy is saying, congrats, B. Will, with the win. Actually, very good pick. B. Will, it almost happened exactly as you said it probably would. I got to get this tractor trailer fixed, so I'm going to drop this location challenge real quick. Where am I for 100?
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. So Where do you stop for repairs, Jazzy? Just tell me that, and I'll tell you where you're at. Just real quick.
His base is where?
Somewhere in the Midwest, Kansas or something like that.
Missouri? Was it Missouri?
Missouri, one of them. Yeah.
I think he's in Ontario.
He's in Canada?
Could be.
He must have
was there.
I must say he must have checked his Twitter. You see, he was in New York last time. He was in Buffalo last time.
He said he was heading to Canada.
That was Sunday.
Yeah.
But he be all over, man.
Yeah, but he can move.
Yeah.
You know, I think his truck actually teleports. So Jazzy could be anywhere. He said he gave a hint on Twitter. So how long do we have to get? He said he's got to go. Let's go ahead and just put some guesses out here. I'm gonna say he's in Illinois.
I was gonna say Minnesota.
I'm gonna stick with Canada for whatever reason.
Actually, I'm gonna go with Michigan.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Missouri. Just shot in the dark.
All right, there we go.
Because in Canada.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see.
Caveman life coach. This is wild specific. I don't even know how to pronounce that city, but why wild specific on the city? That's crazy.
And in that city of all places too.
Dubuque, is that how that's pronounced?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna go with that. Listen, let's go ahead and get into our conversation, guys. Athlon, this is the off season, so it's that season for lists. And Athlon actually mentioned the top 25 teams for 2022, and now they're releasing what they feel are the best of the best in the SEC. They listed their all SEC all conference team, and 9 players from Auburn was selected, guys. So just to give you an idea of who those players are, they are as follows. First team, you have running back Tank Bigsby, as well as defensive line or edge player Derek Hall. On the second team, you have Colby Wooden and Oscar Chapman. For the third team, you have Keandre Jones, Owen Papo, and Anders Carlson. Fourth team, you have John Samuel Shanker and Zion Puckett. These are the representation for Auburn on Athlon Sports All-SEC Conference team. So just to talk a little bit, we haven't talked about this guy much. I know we have our thoughts on how we feel about our team as opposed to how people feel, but let's kind of go down and talk real quickly about who made the first team. Tank Bigsby and Derek Hall. I don't think we've talked a lot about Tank, but just to give off some stats real quick. Last year, Tank rushed for almost 1,100 yards. He was a yard shy of 1,100 yards for the season on 223 carries. He had 10 touchdowns last season. He also chipped in 184 yards on 21 catches. He's almost a little shy of 2,000 yards in his career. He's rushed for 1,933 yards in 2 seasons at Auburn. Now, we know how we feel about Tank. But did they get it right with Tank? Do we feel that he is indeed the best returning running back in the SEC? We know he hasn't had a chance to really showcase. I don't believe he's been able to showcase what he can do. This guy has dealt with injuries since he's been at Auburn, a lot of transition with the offense, its limitations with O-line, play calling at times last year. Do we feel this is the best back in the SEC returning? Start with you, Mike. How you feel about Tank?
Well, we know he's got skill. I've been watching a lot of the videos of Tank training this offseason. He's working with somebody called the Speed Genius, and he's doing a lot of crazy stuff. It's good to see him taking care of his body and getting ready. I feel like he's going to have a load on his shoulders this fall. So in terms of Tank's upside, I think it's been well documented for years. We just have to get him some help. Players like Tank benefit from a balanced offense. And everybody's game plan for the first 5 games is going to be stop Tank Bigsby. I promise. That's all he's going to see. So we've got to get him some help. I think he belongs on this list. I think he's an obvious choice on this list. No matter how bad our offense has done, he's regularly in the conversation for best running backs in the country. Now, I wasn't Athlon, but I think maybe it was PFF or somebody put out like top 10 returning backs in the country. He made that list too. He's almost universally recognized as a guy who is going to play at the next level, regardless of what success Auburn does or doesn't have. So I like Tank. I think he belongs on this list. Based on what he's had to endure, I think he's earned it. And then Derek Hall was another obvious choice on this list too. This is a guy who has a chance to go out there and possibly lead the SEC in sacks in 2022. So the first list looks good to me. Now, as we all know, these are just lists, and they usually look wildly different at the end of the year than they do at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see Auburn have more names on that list at the end of the year. And, maybe, who gives a damn about how you start, man? I care that he finishes this list all team, Athlon, ESPN, Rivals, whoever ranks stuff. At the end of the year, I care more that he's on that list than I do at the beginning of the year. But I think this is just a recognition of his potential and talent.
What do you think will happen this year with Tank? And this is just you, but guys, you can chime in as well. Given what we hope to happen with the O-line, of course, we have a new play caller on the offense. Hopefully, the offense is gelling. It looks more cohesive. Our downfield attack is improved. What is a reasonable expectation to have for Tank in year 3? Because obviously we expect this to be his last year at Auburn. Mm-hmm. So does he go out with a bang? Does he stay healthy? What are some of the things that you expect to see this year with Tank?
If I knew that, I'd be on FanDuel right now dropping a bag on something. So nothing. I mean, I don't know. It's such a hard question. Like, what do we expect from him? Because so much depends on what is going on around him.
Yeah.
I think that he's proven, again, he's going to have a tough time, man, if other parts of the offense aren't working and we're not balanced. So I expect, if I had a minimum expectation, it would be about last year's output, because it'd be hard to see us getting worse than that.
Do you expect B to Mike's point about him doing about the same? Do you expect to see other guys actually get their production up this season? Do we see more of a running back by committee, getting guys in different positions for different scenarios? Do we see more of a Damari Alston depending on how he matures? What does the number 2 running back look like coming off an injury? What do you expect Auburn's running back room to look like in terms of production?
Well, I definitely expect Tank to hit 1,000 yards on the ground. I think that's a milestone that he will hit this season. I expect him to hit that because I expect him to be more productive on the ground, because I expect our play calling to make a little more sense than it did last year. We heard coming in, when we heard that Mike Bobo was going to be the coordinator last year, that we're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, maybe, I don't know. And then every other fan base was like, this guy. And by midseason, we kind of had the same this guy feeling when we should be running it. We're not running it. A couple of trick plays where we maybe shouldn't have been trying trick plays. So I keep thinking about South Carolina and even Penn State, where I get it. You want to be balanced, and we had both throwing it all over the yard, but we were killing them on the ground. So let's just kill them on the ground. Let's just go ahead and put them out of their misery. Now, we didn't have the offensive line to just mush people like that. I expect that to be better, and that in combination with the play calling, I don't think it's going to be lined up in 40 rushes a game for Tank, or even 50 rushes a game combined as an offense, because I do expect them to be passing the ball, because Carlson does want to be balanced. He wants to be able to do that. So I expect us to still have some modicum of balance, but I think ball control has to be the name of the game for us until we get the quarterback. I don't think we have the quarterback. I would love to be wrong. Would love to come out here and see Zach Calzada's short to mid distance throw accuracy be a lot more consistent. I'm only going to assume that they are going to be what they have been because I don't know if it will improve or not. So based on what I've seen, we have an okay quarterback. We have 2 okay quarterbacks and an unknown in Robbie Ashford. I expect the run game. I know we've got a great back in Tank. I know we've got at least a very good back in Jarquez. And that's what gives me confidence that, okay, they know what they've got back there. They're not guessing. They don't have to figure it out. They've got 2 guys that are a known commodity. So I expect them to lean on those 2 guys as a strength. Now, maybe mid to late season, something changes. Some passing game chemistry develops. And we've had the same quarterback. We would have settled on a guy, and he's been in there long enough to make the offense pop. Our wide receivers get the legs up underneath them. Shedrick is consistent, but he's going to have to work with a new quarterback, assumedly. With we're all kind of projecting Calzada, but I think Tank can get to his 1,000 and also a nice 300 receiving yards is what I expect. I want to say 1,400 yards from scrimmage for Tank, at least 1,000 rushing. That's what I'm expecting from him. Because things will be just different enough, just a little bit better on the offensive line as far as how well they run block, and a little more common sense in the play calling, I think, gets that production for Tank.
I'm seeing 12. Some people with 1,000. Some people saying 1,200 for Tank. Some people being real optimistic, saying 1,500. Where does Tank fall in terms of what do you think that he can do? He got almost 1,100 behind a struggling O-line and run blocking last year. The hope is that the run blocking improves a little bit. What does that do considering Tank stays healthy? What do you see him potentially doing next year?
1,500 all-purpose yards is what I'm looking at for Tank. I don't know if he breaks 1,000 rushing yards, but I think that he gets to 1,500 all-purpose. So whether that's 1,500 or some combination of rushing and receiving yards, I think he gets to about 1,500 this year. Like you said, if he remains healthy. But I just expect our screen game to look a little different this year, and I think that they're going to want to get Tank involved in that because they want to showcase a back. So one of the things that you have to think about when you're thinking about play calling and the shape of how things are going to go in the game is recruiting. You want premier backs to see Auburn as a destination where I can come and I can showcase my skills, right? They're going to want to put Tank in position where he looks like an NFL back. And the NFL now is not just tote the rock 30 times. Like, there are very few Derrick Henrys in the NFL. And Derrick Henry's built like a daggone refrigerator, right? Like, it's just, there's so few of those type of backs. You have to be multiple. There's more people built in the mold of Alvin Kamara than there are in Derrick Henry. So he needs to be able to show his ability. And even Derrick Henry catches screens, right? Like, he can catch a screen out of the backfield and turn that into a big play. He needs to be able to show that in his final year here at Auburn, which everyone assumes is his final year. It's his junior season, but his final year likely at Auburn, that he can be an every down back from the standpoint of being able to run the ball, being able to catch the ball, and being able to pass protect. He needs to show that. He needs to put it on film. And I think that they're going to try to highlight those things for Tank Bigsby this year. 1,500 all-purpose is what I'm looking at.
So you basically took my next question, because I was about to say, in order to be that guy, catching screens, getting involved in the passing game, that means he has to be featured as the running back in pass protection, basically taking over the Sean Shivers role from last year.
Yeah, he needs to do that. He needs to be a 3-down back, because that's where he's going to be able to make his money. Because here's the thing. If he comes in as a rookie, depending upon where he gets drafted and where he goes, there may be someone who's already fitting one of those two roles. So he needs to be able to easily slot for that team to be, okay, well, you don't have an in-between the tackles runner. I can be that guy. You don't have a guy who can get speed around the edge. I can be that guy. You don't have a guy who can be a 3rd-down back, pass protection and pass catching. I can be that guy. If you need a feature back that can do all of those things, I can be that guy as well. He needs to show that he can do those things, because what's going to happen is, how the NFL is morphing with rookie contracts specifically for running backs. They're not picking up 5th year. Josh Jacobs, the Raiders just balked on giving him his 5th year option, and he did well his first 4 years in the league.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not productivity. They're trying to pay as little as they can for running backs. And so if you want to get your money, you need to show that you can do all the things they need from a running back position early in your career, so
Right.
that by the time they get to that 5th-year option, whether that team picks you up or not, you can go get your money in free agency. So he needs to sharpen those skills and be able to do all of those things early so he can get into the right situation early.
Yeah, those are all facts. And to bolster his point, looking at this year's draft, not a single running back taken in the first round of the draft.
No.
Yeah.
And
It's happening less and less.
Yeah, we've seen this trend at the next level where people have figured out that there's no such thing as a bell cow back in the NFL anymore.
Right.
Like injuries are run rampant. Like guys who tote the rock 80% of the carries, like nobody's doing that anymore. It's a multi-back system.
Yeah.
They want multiple guys who can run the rock. How many stars have we seen in the NFL emerge because Le'Veon Bell got hurt, and then who was the kid that came behind him? Connor or somebody?
Yeah.
I remember I had him on
James
my
Conner.
fantasy team.
Yeah.
And
Michigan State kid.
yeah, he was a pretty good
No,
pass
James Conner
catching
was from
back.
Pitt.
Pitt, you're right.
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah, right. Yeah. Bell was Michigan State.
Mm.
Right. But you're looking at that and you're just thinking, all of a sudden, this dude's like a fantasy star. He's catching it. He's running it, man. He's good for like 25, 30 fantasy points a week. And then he fizzles out. And the next back comes in. And these teams have figured out that we don't have to invest in a running back because we can get a pretty good running back 3rd round or lower.
Yeah. You can get value later just because the athletics, like, it's really systems now, right? Like if you've got the right system, of course, you guys know I'm a big 49ers fan. They can pretty much plug in. If the guy fits a mold for the 49ers and he understands kind of where he's supposed to be off the tackle and his steps on this play right here, so that he has to cut. Freaking, they had now Deebo Samuel is an amazing athlete, but they were lining Deebo Samuel up as a running back last year. That just shows you what the running back position has become in the NFL. It's really more about a mold of an athlete than it is skill. Like some of the most skilled running backs we've seen in the last 15 years have not done anything to help teams win, which is why they're investing less and less in running backs.
Yeah.
What's the kid's name? Saquon Barkley is one of them, and then the kid for Dallas, Ezekiel Elliott.
Mhm.
What have those teams won?
And he held out for that contract too. Just like,
Yeah,
hey,
now
y'all know
listen,
y'all
The
need me.
Giants
He was
and
great
the
for a minute.
freaking they're putting up yards, but my
Yeah.
point is that can they get they're not there? It's not, again, the Derrick Henrys of the world are few and far between.
Yeah.
Where the offense revolves around this
Yeah.
back who can just do things that other people can't do. Saquon Barkley is a freak athlite. The New
And
York
stay healthy.
Giants suck.
And stay healthy. You're right. Yeah. Because Saquon Barkley has also been riddled with injuries,
That
which
is
is why they're not taking running backs very
Right.
high.
Because they don't want somebody who's going to have to carry the ball 30 times a game and get hit consistently over and over. And I'm paying that guy top dollar? No, I'm not doing it.
And so Tank doesn't have the best history with injuries. Let's just go ahead and put that out there. Like he's had some nagging kind of things that have happened that have kept him off the field over the last 3 years.
But he
And-
played through last year, right? He never missed a game. Now he didn't look great for like 2 or 3 games, and we were asking.
Yeah, there was some
We were
games
asking
we
if he
were
was right.
questioning.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he didn't miss any time. But he just didn't look the same. But about maybe mid-season, it looked like he had played through it, and then he started to look like himself again.
Yeah.
Right.
I asked Carlson in a couple of those post-game presses, yo, is Tank okay? He
Yeah.
was defiant in his answer.
He was dismissive. He never really answered
Yeah.
that question.
Yeah, for sure.
Concretely, yeah.
Now, because we're drinking buddies, I'm gonna ask him again. I'll be like, "Hey, now that you've been on the show, level with me. I was Tank last year, really." So listen, man. Tank belongs on this list. He is a physical talent. I
Of
think
course.
he's got all the tools. I think he's got all the potential. He belongs on the first team of every list, and it's hard because his stock is watered down by what we didn't accomplish on offense last year.
Right.
And so, as will his production be this year. Because teams have shown us they're not willing to just sit back and respect aspects of your game that you haven't shown to be effective at.
Right.
Until we prove that we can pass the ball downfield with some consistency, they're going to load up the box to stop Tank. Now, a lot of folks accuse Isaac and I called you Isaac, Ike and I, of exaggerating when we said, hey, man, these are like 8 to 9 boxes this dude is running against.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So our O-line is just getting blasted in run protection because we can't pass down the field. Nobody respects it. Now, there were times last year where the game plan did abandon the run, I thought, too early. Penn State was one of them.
Penn State, Arkansas, two off the top of my head.
They weren't stopping Tank.
Yeah,
and we just didn't stick with the run enough in that game. I think we finished like 100 and almost 200 yards of on the ground, but I thought we abandoned the run a little bit too early in that game because Tank was effective. At no point did I feel like they were slowing him down or stopping him. And this year, man, let the big dogs eat. Dude, give them the ball, and then hopefully Calzada or Robbie or TJ or whoever's playing quarterback can help keep the defense off balance enough that Tank can continue to thrive. It's just really hard at this level, man. You put 5 linemen on the field. You maybe keep your running back in and you put some tight ends maybe if you're going power. And like, what can you do, man, when you've got 5 to 6 guys trying to block 8 to 9?
Well, Keesaw also said in the offseason that they do want to feature Tank more and really get to what their identity is downhill. But what happened last year, Mike G, and Harsin even said it in post-game press conferences, is you don't want to get behind schedule and get down early to where you have to abandon the run just to catch up.
Well, the way to do that is to not be – I'm not going to curse. It's Wednesday. I'm not going to curse.
You will.
The way
just a matter of time.
The way to do that is to not be obvious. I mean, how many times did we just run some basic run play and then we get stuck in too many obvious passing downs where they just tee off on us?
Yeah.
You have to be able to both run and throw on first down.
Yeah.
Throw for 5 yards. And then from 2nd and 5, your whole playbook is open. Mm-hmm. You can run anything from 2nd and 5. It's just a matter of picking the right play and whether you could. The guessing game, it's a chess match that happens between a defensive coordinator. When it's 3rd and 16, there's no chess match.
Right.
There's no chess match. It's play them deep and watch for the screen. Watch for them to be tricky and try to, while you're sitting back and try to play a draw. Which
even
involves what? Keeping somebody in the spy just to make sure you're not being tricky and dropping everybody back out in coverage and keeping the ball in front of you. We got caught in so many of those positions last year. And as a result, Tank didn't get the ball as much as he should have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tank,
I think, and the disappointing thing for sure was the times when he should have gotten the ball, he was being effective, and they still didn't go to him.
South Carolina stands out.
Yeah, right, for sure.
Now, I'm not mad that he didn't get so many carries because there were 3 times. Well, again, Jarquez Hunter won the LSU game for us. Right. And also, Jarquez Hunter had the pivotal run against Penn State late.
Don't say that too loud. Backyard Bowl won the LSU game.
All right, so anyway, and the entire game-winning drive was Jarquez Hunter. I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. Penn State, Jarquez got us down the field late in that game, and also Georgia State, Tank Bigsby fumbled and turned the ball over, and he sat down, and Jarquez Hunter was on the field for the last drive. Now it's not like he had a whole bunch.
Very good point.
It's not like he had I think that was more about Finley throwing because we didn't have that much time. We had to throw the ball. But Jarquez Hunter is productive. So I'm not upset if Tank is not on the field to take the snaps to get it. It's less about, hey, Tank is effective, so we have to see him. It's more about the run game is effective. Both of our running backs can be productive today.
Sure.
Let's not go away from what's working here.
Right. And I think the emergence of a Sean Jackson in that running back room as a short yardage back is going to be helpful as well. I mean, man, I really want to see us score be damned. Like, I don't care if we're some dazzling, we talked to somebody asked last game, can we put up 40 points? I don't care if we do that. And I said this last year, I don't care how many points we score as long as we're winning football. I would love to see us just be relentless and saying we're going to play big boy football this year and utilize these backs that we have.
Right. Yeah. Well, the way to do that is what they did this offseason, which is # get your weight up. get in the weight room, get stronger so that you can play at that level. These guys didn't have it last year. I don't think people understood to what extent when you change from playing the type of football Gus wanted to play to what Harsin wanted to play. It caught up with us at key times, man. God, since 2013, our team has shown just a real inability to be able to shut the door and close the deal.
Yeah.
Right.
And it always pops its head up. Now, listen, the 2013 season was magical. But what you saw was it, I mean, everybody loves the prayer of Jordan, baby. But what you saw a team that gave up a big lead, stalled on offense, and then got bailed out by
the football gods.
Right.
That's right. We were up like 20 points in that game, and they came back. Yeah.
Nick Marshall, with people open underneath for the first down, launches the ball way down the field. It was incredibly underthrown. And Trey Matthews just decided to say, hey, you know what? I'm transferring in a year or two. So Auburn, y'all can have this one. Like, come on, man. The Iron Bowl that year, the kick six. I mean, the improbable way in which we won some games that season is why I will never be fooled by short-term success by Auburn football ever again.
That is a lesson. I learned that lesson the hard way that season.
Yeah, I mean, I just won't be fooled by it. And that's why I'm not
or even failure at this point.
Right. That's why I'm not overreacting to the short-term failure. I don't even call it failure. It's just building, man. We had a rough season.
Yeah.
Right.
But this is the way that it usually goes for coaches in their first year. How is it that our fans don't get it? We almost fired Tommy Tuberville right before he went undefeated. Because we were so impatient. He had some things to figure out. Now, listen, I've said it before. I'll say it again. The head coach owns the successes and the failures of his team and his staff. 100%. So just the way we give Tommy Tuberville credit, like for 2004, you got to give him all the blame for 2003 too. Because he hired that nightmare of a co-offensive coordinator thing that was
Nalsminger.
And
put some respect on their name.
Right. Now, credit to him, he didn't die on that hill. He was like, all right, bring somebody in here to fix this. Enter Al Borges, with whom we spoke and have an interview coming out tomorrow.
Plug. Yeah.
So I just think what they decide to do will have a profound effect on how these guys start and finish on these preseason lists. Because what it really boils down to is you don't see a lot of these guys on here, on these lists, on teams that aren't successful unless they're really super standout players.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the best of the best. Alabama's guys make this list sometimes just by default because they just have had so much success. Right. It's hard not to see their guys and think, well, he's from Alabama, I'll just take him. That's what it feels like anyway.
Yeah.
To me.
It's because I don't. I mean, did Jermaine Burton have the productivity last year to warrant him being on a first team as a wide receiver
at Georgia? I don't think any wide receiver.
It's all just anticipation.
That's what I'm saying.
Past,
yeah. It's a lot of it is based on what they've been able to do with that room as of late. And
excuse me, he was second team wide receiver was Jermaine Burton. So I'm just like, he's the second best in the conference.
One of the top four receivers in the conference.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. But a lot of that is if I can extrapolate what I know in a known quantity in Bryce Young, and you make an assumption about the type of athlete and wide receiver that Burton is, and they put that 2 and 2 together and assume super productive. This is the next Jameson Williams. I kind of get it. You know what I'm saying? I kind of get it. I just didn't see enough of Burton to know, oh yeah, he's definitely that dude.
Yeah, I mean, if Young is first team, then someone has to be the beneficiary of him being that spectacular. So the idea is that those guys are next up, even if they may not pan out. So,
right. Yes. I'm really hopeful that when the season is over, the development plan that we put in place for our players is going to show up on lists like these. There are going to be some names that you never heard of from all schools, not just Auburn. There are going to be some guys who weren't anywhere near this list that end up on this list. Man, and that's just sports, right? I know we're going to talk about baseball later, but, Sonny D was like second team something in whatever conference Sanford is in.
Right.
Yeah. SEC first team.
Player of the year.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, I just think you're going to be surprised. I'm glad that we chose to talk about this tonight because when we look back on these lists, and that's probably something we should do more often. Where did we start? What did the list look like at the beginning of the year? And what does it look like at the end? That'll tell you everything you need to know about how we're developing players and setting guys up for success in the future.
You know what'll be good to do? Take these individual publications before season stuff and compare it to their postseason. We're talking about their picks for team records, their preseason, who's going to be the best players, and whoever, and then give them grades on that. That would be fun.
So my favorite one to do is going to be the SEC media picks. As a matter of fact,
we can start with that.
We're going to be a part of that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
we're going to be a part of that. We actually are going to vote in that this year. So my ballot will be unbiased, but when you're looking at it,
Ike, what about you, Ike? What say you, Ike?
I ain't making no promises about unbiased, bro. I'm not making that promise. I'll try.
SEC Media Days is kind of the start of that. It is July the 18th through the 22nd. It's in Atlanta at the Omni CNN Center. Myself and Ike Jones will be there live in person. So we may not be able to broadcast live because of restrictions, but we will be bringing you guys content from SEC Media Days this year. I'm coordinating some things. We're hoping to talk to not just Auburn's coach, but maybe some of the other coaches. Anybody who walks by, we're going to talk to them about some stuff. And they pick. And believe it or not, outside of just default picking Alabama every year, they're usually way off.
Oh, for sure.
It happens in basketball. Right,
they're off. Well, they're off because they pick 1 through 7 in each division, and that's usually way off.
Yeah,
they may get Bama right, but for 2 through 7,
we were supposed to be 5th in the SEC, right? At basketball, 5th or 6th,
5th.
Bama was supposed to be 1st. We know how that turned out. And baseball, we were picked to finish last in the West. Come on, man. We're part of the final 8 standing in all of college football.
Yeah.
Baseball. Yeah. That's not last in the SEC West.
Yeah.
So I like talking about these lists because they're great debate, but I would caution everybody that at the end of the year, we have some guys who are going to make these lists. We're going to have some standout freshmen. They're going to make a name for themselves this year. Some of these transfers that have come in that played JUCO last year, Keontae Scott, Marquise Gilbert, Jeffrey Mba. These guys can really come in. Mba, I'm really hoping he has like a Nick Fairley kind of season. I know that's
throwing people on the back of their necks and knocking them out of the games.
Nick Fairley put us on his back in that 2010 season,
and quarterbacks on their backs as well, which is why I love them.
Fair enough. Yep. And we don't win that Iron Bowl without him.
That's right.
He was a one-man wrecking crew.
For sure.
Bama headed into score, man. He got the sack and recovered the fumble.
Yeah.
And they were about to score with 20 seconds left in the second quarter. So if we can have some of those guys pop up, because from from about 2003 to 2010, we were having a lot of luck with JUCO players.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Fairley was JUCO until like 5 years ago. I was like, really?
Yeah. JUCO.
Yeah.
Came in and just had a monster. I mean, just they were the one. Was it Danielson used to compare him to Warren Sapp every broadcast? Right, he's a little Warren Sapp. Like he's the closest to Warren Sapp that I've ever seen. Mark Richt said that too when we played him as well. So when I'm looking at it, I'm just thinking we have a chance to do something special. Can we pull the list up one more time before we go to the break?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this list here. Now,
I like
wait.
Wooden. I like Wooden to end up being first team. I know that's kind of wild because I don't know who else.
Yeah,
This is the thing.
that
I
was
don't know who else.
That's the thing I was going to ask you guys.
I
Who did you feel like was
wanted to
too
talk
low?
about that. I wanted to talk about that. I know we got a good convo on Tank. Do we want to pick that up after the break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's
Okay.
do
We
this.
will
We're not
pick it up.
we're not gonna have a ton of baseball stuff to talk about. We could do that.
Yeah, we could
Yeah.
pick that one up after because that is definitely one of the things I wanted to touch on for sure. Is there something else you wanted to touch on, Mike, with this list or with this?
We can get into it after the break. I just wanted to make sure we didn't. We showed some love to these other guys who spent a lot of time talking about Tank.
We definitely will. But guys, listen, I want you to show us some love as you're watching this. Please be sure to share this video on social media using hashtag Get Your Weight Up. Also, guys, do us a favor. Don't be out there just lurking. Like the video. Get our engagement up. It helps us out a ton. And if you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell for when we go live. You'll be notified. We'll pause to acknowledge the sponsors of the War Report.
This edition of the War Report is made possible by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. Athletic Architects. For young athletes looking to secure their financial future, let Athletic Architects help you to build your financial house. Head over to BuildTheHouse.com. And our giveaway sponsor, War Eagle Oil. War Eagle Oil is your #1 place for all of your motor oil and related products. For more information, visit WarEagleOil.com. Yes, indeed. We are always asking you guys to come on board as members. So thank you so much for those of you who have already done it. If you are, then you know Al Borges' interview is live right now. You can go check that out, but it is going to be going live tomorrow for everyone else. So everybody else will get an opportunity to check that out. Let's just get a little sneak peek of how that interview went for those who haven't had a chance to see it. I just want to talk about like the difference of playing an SEC schedule versus some of the schedules that you had at some of the other stops.
But in the SEC, it's damn near every week. You know what I mean? Even the teams that aren't as good have a defensive player here, a defensive player there that you better account for.
Coach, obviously Rodney went second. Cadillac went fifth in that draft. In your estimation, who was the better back?
That's a good question.
Yeah, you got to answer. You got to answer. No, I need an answer. I need an answer, Coach.
I'm gonna say this. I think they're both as good, if not better, than the two SC guys.
Wait a minute.
No. You betcha.
I like that answer even better.
I would not trade Lindell White and Reggie Bush.
What?
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
I love it, Coach.
I want to ask you a little bit about working with Coach Tuberville.
The good thing about working with Tub is you have total autonomy.
You're playing LSU. This is the pivotal moment. It's fourth down. Jason Campbell drops back and hits Courtney Taylor for a first down.
I decided we're going to move the pocket, and not have Jason sit in the middle where they could find him, and then have Courtney and Anthony Mix would run down, basically a little past the first down.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit, Coach, now about evaluation of the quarterback position.
Now he had not performed consistently, but I think that was more of a mindset than anything else. When I got there, watching all the video that I watched, the one conclusion that I drew is
So if you haven't already, make sure you go and check out that interview tomorrow for everyone who is a non-member. Really great conversation there with Coach Al Borges, the former offensive coordinator for the undefeated season we had there with Auburn University. I know I said I was giving away a mug earlier today, but I had an idea while I was sitting here on the show. We're going to talk about baseball here in just a minute. I'm going to flip up the giveaway because I made a new shirt that says Omaha Bound.
Nice.
And we're going to give away an Omaha Bound t-shirt to whoever we can get that to today. Hashtag Get Your Weight Up. This is going to be sponsored by War Eagle Oil. So yeah, that's going to actually be the giveaway today. So if you were like, I don't really want a mug, go ahead, hashtag Get Your Weight Up. we're going to do the t-shirt instead. I also said we have another giveaway today. War Eagle Oil is actually going to be giving away a product bundle. So you get 5 quarts of motor oil, 1 oil filter, 1 bottle of glass cleaner, and a bottle of Miracle Wash waterless cleaner. If you hashtag War Eagle in the comments, we will be doing that giveaway today as well. So we're giving away an Omaha bound t-shirt and a War Eagle Oil motor care bundle. So a lot of things to be given away today. Make sure you guys lock in with us, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, we turning up every week, man. Don't play with me out here in these streets, bro.
In these streets.
That's a warning.
Speaking of these streets, Al Borges is kind of a G out here, man. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoy talking to him. You definitely want to watch that interview. We went in, we talked about it, about that offense and the things that he accomplished this year. He went in depth about what he was thinking in certain situations. So that 4th and 12, with LSU in town, that really was the make or break for the historic nature of that season. Mm-hmm. He talks about those things. I learned today on Twitter that Auburn football didn't exist for a lot of younger fans before 2010.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of really good memories before Gus and Chiz stepped on campus, and we were in school for a lot of that. So big shout to Al Borges for taking some time to talk to us about, everything that happened during those years. And we appreciate him for his contribution to Auburn athletics.
I just always thought Al Borges was a genius just because of how he used Caddy and Ronnie that year.
Mm-hmm. And, that was part, again, I don't want to give away the interview, but those two guys going into that season, I remember being in the athletic department, it was a foregone conclusion that one of them was going to leave and go pro. So it was the biggest coup to convince not only both of them to come back, but then to utilize both of them in a meaningful way that season.
Yeah.
So they both could get the draft status that they were looking for had either one of them gone the year before. Not only did they come back for the team, but the team rewarded them and got them both picked top 5, which is amazing. I mean, to kind of the ice point, that's back in the day when running backs were prized a little bit better, but that was just an amazing return on the investment they made in the team that year, which is a great story.
Yeah, that's usually the best case scenario for why players do come back for their last year.
Ronnie Cadillac got a lot of the headlines that year, but ultimately the NFL thought Ronnie was the better back because he wins second. The second overall pick in the draft. We had 4 first-round picks that year. 2, 5, 9, and like 25,
20,
I think.
Yeah, because Campbell was 25 or 6. Yeah.
Carlos Roger was 9. He was the 9th pick in that draft.
Yeah.
All the nostalgia, guys, let's not forget, no matter what, all this good talk about football, never forget that this happened, okay?
Yep.
Or just want to throw that in there just in case, you forget talking all this good football, Virginia double dribble. There it is right there. All right, guys, before we get into talking about baseball, let's bring the list back up again and let's talk about some of the other names on the list. We mentioned Kobe Wooden. There were some guys picked ahead of him first team. Jalen Carter for Georgia. Of course, Derek Hall made first team on defensive line. Alabama and Tennessee had 2 Byron Youngs. Imagine that to make first team. I believe that Kobe Wooden is at the very least better than Byron Young in Tennessee. Now, this is just a list before the season starts. To B's point, it's very likely with how good Kobe Wooden has played up to this point, he's likely to get better. He will be potentially first team. You guys' thoughts about Kobe Wooden?
That's who I'm looking to move up on this list. I still think second team is actually significant when you're talking SEC. It's along the defensive line because you know that there are at least 2 schools who recruit better than us on defense, and that to this point is obviously Georgia and Alabama. And a little bit of a nod to LSU because they never stopped recruiting well. Orgeron just kind of let all the Legos fall all over the place and he didn't put them together properly. But there has been more consistently better recruited teams along the defensive line that I understand why they would look to those teams first for the talent. And to Ike's point, I think Kobe Wooden got buried because you have a team that goes 6-6, 6-7, and then people stop looking at it However, if anybody watched film the way I know Ike watched film, it's hard to look at Auburn play defensively and not notice Kobe Wooden showing up play after play after play. So somebody was paying attention. So somebody at Athlon actually was doing their homework. I think it's a little bit of reputation. I expect Will Anderson to be on that list, first team preseason, and maybe rightfully so. I'm not saying
they got him listed as linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So if you're outside linebacker, it's a little different. But Kobe was really good. And watching the Jason Jones interview, one of the first things he mentioned about why you came here, and this is wild. The reason this is significant is because he came from Oregon to Auburn. And by all accounts, Mario Cristobal was a trenches dude. He was understood the value of the offensive line, and I don't know how you understand the value of the offensive line without equally understanding the value of the defensive line. So he had been in Alabama, recruiting at Alabama. He understood the SEC culture and what it takes to make a winning football team. He prioritized the trenches. And Jason Jones came here when the first question was, "What made you come here?" He was like, "The strength training." He was like, "I don't think people understand what they got going in that building."
Was it like I thought it was the Chick-fil-A's. Are you sure it wasn't the Chick-fil-A's?
we asked him about the Chick-fil-A.
I think it came from Chick-fil-A. I'm pretty sure that was it.
He tagged in with Robbie.
Two things
agreeing
can be
with
true
that.
at the same time.
Yeah, but well, one of the things he said was the strength training, because he had instantly seen a difference in not only his physical makeup, his body fat percentage, but his ability to produce just in practice. His speed and strength in practice had changed instantly. All of those guys, every guy we saw has a chance to be significantly better because they were good. They're going to get better. We're hearing that people are setting personal records. We're hearing that they're stronger and faster. They're kind of asking every guy that gets on the camera with us, with Mike and I can see, is, hey, who's the fastest guy? You might hear something different every time, which is amazing. Which means that guys are, I mean, we didn't think Shedrick was a burner, but we're hearing, no, Shedrick is fast, dude. Like, really? Okay. Everybody's getting faster. Everybody's getting stronger. 1 year smarter in the same defensive, even if it's not the exact same defensive scheme, with the same staff, under a staff who is utilizing you and knows your strengths and weaknesses. I think everybody is going to perform better than expected. But in particular, I think Kobe Wooden has a chance to go from second team to first team for sure.
Someone whose name is missing from this, who I expect to make someone's team on the All-SEC conference team, is Eku Leota.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
I'm expecting him to definitely, again, there's going to be a lot of opportunities because TD Moultrie's not back. Of course, I know the young kid that we pulled from Tennessee is going to get an opportunity to show what he can do, but I'm really looking forward to see what Eku Leota can do. I also see guys like Owen Papo, Anders Carlson. I know Walt had a question about him being third team, but just any other guys that stand out that you guys want to make note of who's on this list or missed it from this list?
I have a hot take. I'm over Anders Carlson.
Hey, man, the guy was injured, man.
I'm over him.
He was injured. He didn't play injured though. What do you mean?
Yeah. Like
I mean, so he hurt something. Was that the last game or the?
Yeah,
when did he
was.
had off-season surgery?
Yeah, when he was out, he was out though. I'm talking about when he was in and healthy. I'm over him.
It was the Bama game where he got hurt. I think trying to do an onside kick. Was that what it was? Or
yeah.
I forgot what it was an onside kick.
No. I think maybe Mississippi State he got hurt.
Yes, it was Mississippi State. You're right.
State he got hurt.
That's right, because the last couple of games
because
because when we went to freaking South Carolina, we had the kid who I don't want to talk about.
I mean, there were some notable game-changing long kicks, and he seemed to be missing a high percentage of them beyond 45 yards. Mm-hmm, so, I'm ready to see Evan McGuire and Ben Patton and even this new kid, Evan McPherson, that kicked like a 61-yarder in high school, kind of get a shot. And particularly this year, where special teams may be the difference between one or two extra wins or same year over year.
Yeah.
We're going to be on some dogfights, and that stuff that happens on special teams matters. So besides just blasting Anders, I got to give my guy Oscar Chapman some love. Listen, having an all-SEC punter,
he was great.
It can really help your defense out, because when you can punt your way out of bad field position, that's an underrated weapon to have. A consistent punter. So I'm looking for him. I think he deserves some love. This O-line that everybody thinks sucks. We slid a guy in at the third team, at Keontae Jones. I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody from our O-line make second or first team at the end of the year. Just wouldn't be surprised, because you'd be surprised how much better these guys grade out when they're not getting blitzkrieged every down by the defense, because nobody respects our pass.
Right.
Calzada or Finley or Robbie have a good year throwing the ball, and this offensive line is going to get a lot of reprieve, man. I'm telling you. They just weren't as bad as people painted them out to be last year.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see if we get not only Shanker is on this list, but if we get another tight end on this list, because again, we're playing a lot of guys. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for one of those guys to make this list as well.
Is it weird that Jalen Simpson isn't on this over Zion Puckett?
No, because later in that season,
of this, I think it's more so the position, right? Zion Puckett's the safety on the list. And they're expecting him to start at safety. What we don't know is what we have at the other safety positions. And this is pretty much just an assumption based upon what they thought Smoke Monday was, right? I think Smoke Monday was a preseason list guy, right?
He was.
So Zion Puckett they're just swapping those guys out as the box safety for Auburn. It's going to make a lot of tackles. They're swapping that out. I don't know. I need to look at the other cornerbacks on the list, though. Let me peek at the website and see if I see.
John Samuel Shanker deserves more love than fourth team, if you ask me, but whatever.
Well, the production, the pass game was inconsistent, and
Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama is on this list at 13.
13, though. 13.
Yeah,
that's projection.
We'll Eli Ricks from Alabama made.
Yeah, I mean projection too, but again, to Mike's point, Simpson's not on the list at all, and you've seen him productive, not just project.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just
saw
stood
him
out
productive. He played.
You saw Kool-Aid get smoked a lot too, though, in the few games he played.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I know Jalen Simpson started well. He didn't finish the season that well, and we don't even know if he's going to be the starting coordinator.
No.
We'll see.
Is Zion? That's all I'm saying.
In fairness, that's fair. That's fair.
It would have been if neither one of them was up there. Like I'd have probably been more fine with that than having Zion up over Jalen, but just me.
Well, before we get to the giveaway, let's spend a little bit of time talking baseball, guys. I mean, if you've been under a rock, welcome. Hope the light doesn't blind you. Auburn baseball. Since we last talked, it's funny they lost a close one to Oregon State on Sunday night, 4-3, and then came back the next day and won 4-3. They joined Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Arkansas as representatives from the SEC in this year's College World Series. Could have been 5 teams in there had Tennessee not lost.
Did you forget about Tennessee?
No,
they got upset. They got upset.
They
Notre Dame beat them. Notre Dame beat them
at home to Notre Dame. They had a particular.
Normally the petty is reserved. Normally the petty is reserved for me in that fashion. But Mike, I have to shake my hand. So that was pretty good. That was good petty.
I was going to say, I thought Bama made it too. They didn't make it.
That's good right there. Shake my hand again, sir.
Come on, dude. What's happening? What's going on here? I thought they were good at everything, right?
Oh man,
on the come up. Nope. I think Bill Clinton was president the last time Bama made it to the College World Series. Gas was 99 cents a gallon. All kind of things was happening the last time they made it. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. We always have time for petty. No, so don't need to apologize. Mike, we all talked about the job Butch Thompson did or has done since he's been in Auburn. Just your thoughts on what he's managed to do in such a short period of time while being over this program.
We released a podcast today, our Wednesday Mike Mack and Memes, where we talk with our girl Brandy Mack, our and our statistics expert and Auburn memes who knows nothing statistically but is still entertaining to listen to. And I'm telling you, I think Butch Thompson is the poster boy for why you need to be patient with coaches.
Mhm.
Give them the resources, let them develop their team, let them get the right coaches in, and then watch it unfold. And other sports get more patience because the expectations are maybe just a little bit, they aren't as intense. I won't say lower, they just aren't as intense. But what he's done with this team has been phenomenal. I joined the post-game presser for this one. I was interested, so they sent the link out, and I got on, and I asked them about what it meant to win a game. Like in the regional, we scored 51 runs in 3 games. And the super regional, we scored significantly less than that. So to get a win, essentially relying on pitching, because we had 3 hits to their 8 and we won by a run.
Right.
The bats were not swinging. It felt like our hitters were just staring at strikes right over the plate.
Bro,
I was getting really frustrated.
It was hurting my soul watching them sit there against the middle reliever against Oregon State, and they were just like, I was like, you're not going to swing at all?
Right. The most unsatisfying thing I think in baseball is to watch somebody get struck out without swinging.
Yeah.
Just watching a fastball down, the middle of the plate.
Yeah.
But Butch Thompson in the postgame gave a lot of credit to Oregon State's pitching. And I asked Brandy about this. She said their strength was pitching. Our strength was hitting.
Yeah.
So strength on strength there. And it turned out we won. We won that battle undisputedly over 3 games. So Butch Thompson has done a great job. I think Tim Hudson has done a good job managing the relievers.
For sure.
So the head, I said at the top, the head coach gets credit for the job that his assistants do as well too. So bringing in Tim Hudson to work with the relievers, because I'm tickled by how quickly they will pull a pitcher once it starts going south.
Yeah.
Right? Like 2 bad pitches and Tim Hudson comes out. He's like, oh,
I thought they went to the closer too early. Right, like it went to him at the in the 7th inning, and I was like, "Yo, you could have let the." I mean, and to be fair, the guy was struggling a little bit, but they were talking about it a lot on the broadcast. It was more of the part of their left-handed part of their lineup, right? And I'm like, okay, let him get through the rest of the lefties.
Right.
But
so
Joe, my man came in there dealing, bro. I was like,
there was the starter. There's another dude that's supposed to come in, and then they play with whether to bring Burkhalter in the 7th or the 8th inning. And these are the underrated coaching decisions that get made in baseball, where they were like, we're going to go to Burkhalter in the 7th.
Right.
And then he retired 8 straight batters.
Smoking
I think
them
it was.
too.
Yeah,
He was smoking
he just,
too.
just shut down any hope Oregon State had of pulling out a comeback, because they were the home team. So they got the last at bat in the bottom of the 9th.
Right.
Which is another thing that I think it was great that we were able to overcome, because we had to go out to Corvallis, and that was advantage Oregon State.
Right.
To be out there for them in a game 3, to be the home team and get the last at bat, especially if you're going to be down going into the 9th. I think they managed this perfectly. Now, Brandy, please go listen to the podcast. If you haven't subscribed to the Auburn Express on Apple or wherever you listen to a podcast on, please subscribe. Brandy had a little bit of, I wouldn't call it a conspiracy theory. She said it was a conspiracy theory. But their ace pitcher,
Jerpy.
I didn't want to call him Herpy, but like it looks like that. He got a mysterious illness because he was supposed to pitch game 1,
right,
and suddenly was better for game 2.
Mm-hmm.
But in her estimation, she felt like Oregon State thought they could take game 1 without putting their ace out there first.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they thought,
and it backfired on them. So he went out there game 2. They barely snuck that one out over us. And in the end, our pitching was better than their pitching in that 3rd game. They may have gotten more hits, but
We just have better overall defense, though. Like Oregon
Yeah.
State's defense just let them down. Like they had a lot of not a lot of errors, but they had untimely errors that led
Critical
to this.
errors. Yeah.
And then you miss one time to one of the best hitters in the country, and he takes it out of the park, man. Sonny D is amazing, bro.
Now, the statistical gamble that it is not putting your ace out there in game one, Brandy told us 80% of the time in the tournament, the team that wins game one goes on to win the series. So losing it does not bode well for you. And it may have been a strategical mistake to not put him out there game one. I don't know why you hide behind the illness or whatever it was, but like, I don't know. What did he get that he was better from in 2 days?
I just don't even know why you even take that chance if you're Oregon State. But
yeah, I don't know. They were very cocky, and I'll take some time to be petty against their fans on Twitter. There was one guy running around before we even played them talking about how we weren't going to get out of the regional and UCLA was going to beat us, and we had no shot. Crickets after. And then he was just blocking everybody, so screw him. Screw a lot of their fans that
he was big mad too. Like he was like, "Here come all these Auburn fans in my man." It's like, bro,
I saw that.
You posted it first.
Yeah,
Come
you
on
started
now.
this, dude. Like, what do you mean? Yes,
it.
That's one thing. Look, congratulations, Auburn Twitter,
undefeated,
is amazing at making sure you don't forget when you're wrong. But you know what? They're equally as humble in making fun of ourselves when we lose. That's the thing I love about Auburn Twitter. They will definitely we'll make fun of ourselves, but we will never let you forget when you're wrong.
Yeah, they don't hide from the losses.
Yeah.
They definitely don't hide from the losses. So, Auburn Memes is at the head of that Twitter mob. And I just think that they were, for a team that has a better overall baseball pedigree than we do, they were just a little too cocky going into that.
Yeah, they definitely thought that it was going to be easy work for them, and then it ended up being they got tight in game 3, and it showed. Like they just were tentative in the way that they were hitting. Like everything was super tight with them. But their defense was tight. It was just
The hit of the series was the Sonny D home run in game 3. Now he reached out over the plate for that and had the strength to essentially pull this pitch out of the park. I thought it was a pop fly, maybe because all the terrible camera work.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it barely got out, so that's not, it got out of there.
He crushed it, but it carried and just kept going. It felt like it hung up there forever, and it cleared the fence. And in a game where we only had 3 hits, that was significant.
Yeah, for sure.
2 runs on 1 hit where we essentially win a game by 1 run. Come on. So I think Butch Thompson has done a good job. So much of baseball is just motivating, and it's a little bit more. It's slower, but there's strategies that go underrated in baseball.
For sure.
Knowing when to pull your starter, even if he's having a good game, because the way the dude started the game, he started phenomenal. I thought he might go the distance the way he was pitching. His pitch count was low through the first 3 innings, and they know their pitchers and their players so well. Yeah, when it started to fall apart a little bit in the 4th, I was like, all right, maybe he's not going to go the distance, and they had a plan. Now, on the post game, he said, if Burkhalter didn't get the job done, they did not have a plan B for that game 3. He said,
he pretty much was like, we're gonna ride with this guy, and I think the hope was that they were gonna get another insurance run too, which we were in position to do, and just couldn't deliver with guys in scoring position. We stranded a lot of base runners from the walks that we had in that game.
Yeah. So there were some other storylines from the game. The hotel thing became a big one. I think that was a little overblown about the team hotel not being, because if you've ever been to Auburn, there aren't a ton of hotels.
I think the difference with those situations, which I don't know where away teams typically stay, is that with that, there's no way to plan in advance to reserve those rooms. Like when it's a regular season game, when the games are going to be. Postseason, you don't know for sure whether you're even going to be hosting. right? Like,
Correct.
So it's a little more difficult to plan that. And then they had a bunch of stuff going on with graduation.
They
So
had
I understand how that
graduation.
happens.
They had track and field championships, and they
That's
had
true.
something else in town. So I think I think that storyline was a little overblown. I don't think there's any conspiracy there, with that. But other than that, man, I don't think that officiating stood out. They went to review a few times, and I thought they made the right calls. There was a bang play at first that and I think that it was more of an error on our part than it was a bad call.
Yeah, I don't know who was moving too slow in that situation. I don't know if it was the fielding. Yeah, I'm willing to say that I think that the pitcher was a little slow to the bag on that one.
Yeah. And he got out hustled. He got out hustled by the runner.
Yeah.
Because it looked like an easy out, and he took it for granted, and the guy just bang. I think again it looked like a tie to me, but in baseball the tie goes to the runner.
Yeah.
So I thought there were some things that happened there. I think the umpire. I think the umpires and the refs did a good job of not making themselves a story during this series.
I mean, I think there was a lot of complaints about the strike zone in game 1, how inconsistent that was, but I think they cleaned that up game 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree. I don't think that there was a ton of, oh man, these umps are just not. They're not giving us the right kind of calls here. There wasn't a lot of like, oh man, what was that type of situations.
Right. I'll be interested to see if in the future they go to like an automated or machine learning thing with balls and strikes.
I don't think they ever will. I think they should. I think they should find a way to automate as much as they can if it's going to be more accurate than what the guys on the field are calling. Or don't put that thing up on the screen where I can see that the ump clearly got it wrong.
Right.
And then like, don't do that then. Like, if you're going to show me what is accurate, then don't have this dummy out here calling it the other way. Just don't show that to me.
There's a softball reel going on out there where they're showing this pitcher basically 3 pitches in a row. The pitcher was in the strike zone and it was called ball every single time according to the machine. It was like, it's a little frustrating. It's like, that looked like that was, if we go back to our thing here, that's well within the strike zone. He called that a ball, or that was well outside and he called that a strike. And it's hard. Like, again, officiating is super hard in every sport because you don't get the advantage of being able to see the angle that the camera gives you, right? You're looking at that from behind the catcher, trying to determine if it's within and then a lot of those catchers are framing those pitches around the strike zone or snatching it back into the zone and stuff like that. It's hard. It's a super hard thing to be able to do to determine where did he catch the ball and where did the ball cross the plate, all those things. Is it too high, too low, inside, outside? That's a lot to do with a ball that's coming on average above 80 miles per hour in your direction.
Yeah.
Right. For sure. Well, listen, Auburn faces Ole Miss this Saturday at 6 p.m. Last time they faced each other, Ole Miss won the series 2-1. Interesting about that series is that the winner scored double-digit runs in every game of that series. What do we expect to see this weekend, guys? Of course, we're rooting for the good guys, but what do we expect to see? And I think Auburn was without one of their pitchers last time they faced Ole Miss as well. I think it was Gonzalez that may have been out. What are our hopes for this upcoming weekend?
If we continue to pitch the way that we have in the starting pitching has been, but if the bullpen continues to be what they have been, it's going to be hard, man, because I just don't think Ole Miss has the pitching, right? Like we can go there with our pitching. I'm not sure. And this is coming from my limited time of seeing, like I've only really watched them play us, right? So I haven't watched their other games, haven't watched their other regional stuff. I just don't know that they have the pitching to be able to shut down our offense when it's humming. I think we can do that. We have the pitching to be able to shut them down. So, of course, I'm going to root for the good guys and say that we get the W here. But I think that offense is going to be humming again.
Yeah. So for this weekend, we play Ole Miss on Saturday. But my understanding is this round is double elimination.
Yes.
So if we lose, the next game is on Monday. So if we lose on Saturday, I think we move to the losers bracket. And then that is a win or go home game.
Correct.
And if you win that game, then you move to the next round of the bracket, essentially. But if you lose game 1, you've got to win out.
Yeah.
That's how it works. If you win game 1, I still think you have to lose 2 to get put out. But
it's almost kind of like how the regional was the first go around.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. But the goal is win game 1, make it easy on yourself
for sure.
But we're not eliminated if we lose Saturday.
We will definitely see what Auburn looks like then. War Eagle to the good guys. Hope they make us proud this upcoming weekend. I'll definitely be checking that out. It's time to check out who's going to win this Omaha t-shirt. In case you guys don't know,
we're giving away the Omaha t-shirt today, sponsored by War Eagle Oil. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments. Y'all know I'm not going to be belaboring this point too much. We're going to get straight into it because we have 2 giveaways we got to do, and we want to get to some of your questions. You guys have had some great questions. So we want to make sure that we get to that. That's not the right one. I want this one here. All right, hashtag get your weight up, and we'll see who is going to get this t-shirt sponsored by War Eagle Oil. Let's get to it. 68 entries right now. Who is going to come away with the shirt today? Kenji Jones.
Hey, Kenji.
What up?
Kenji, let us know if you're here. Please comment that you are here so you can claim your t-shirt, good sir. Do we want to go ahead and get to the other drawing, gentlemen?
We can do that. Yeah, hold on. Let's
okay.
You got it? All right, cool.
I got it. So hashtag War Eagle, and you're gonna win a bunch of oil from War Eagle Oil, plus some window cleaner, all the stuff you need to keep your engine running.
Yep. 5 quarts of motor oil, 1 oil filter, a bottle of glass cleaner, 1 bottle of Miracle Wash waterless cleaner for the winner here in this scenario.
I've been told the oil filter is important.
Kenji is here, guys.
Kenji's here. What's up, man? Yeah, we're going to get that shirt out to you. Make sure you get us Business at the War Report, your address and shirt size.
All right. Let's see. Who's going to win some oil today? Man, we give away a lot of random stuff on this show.
Yeah, man.
T
Moultrie.
I think he switched the name up on this. T Moultrie, you just won 5 quarts of oil in oil filter, some glass cleaner from War Eagle Oil. Holler at us in the comments here so we can get that out to you. We need your name and address. There he is.
So just email us. I'll get you all of the details of what we're gonna need, stuff like the model of your car, all that kind of stuff to make sure that we get you the right stuff. But if you email us, I'll get you all of the details of what you are supposed to be providing to us to make sure that you get the things for your giveaway. So, as always, we thank our sponsors for providing us with all of this great stuff. Our sponsor for the giveaway today is War Eagle Oil. War Eagle Oil is your #1 place for all of your motor oil related products. Registered as a preferred customer to receive reduced pricing up to 25% on every order, free shipping on orders over $100 or more, and other exclusive offers. Visit wareagleoil.com to be able to get all of that stuff.
Indeed. Congrats to all of our winners. Let's get into it, guys. Fan question finale, guys. You have been sending us a lot of questions, so we'll try to get through these as quickly as possible. First up, Jazzy Joe, the 100 Mike G for the win in Canada. I'll catch the replay, y'all. Much love, War Rapport fam. Much love to you, Jazzy. Be safe out there in these streets, these Canadian streets. All right. T. Moultrie says, I just believe we'll have some improvement on the line for year 2. Thoughts on that, guys?
It's likely. Yeah, they've got a lot of experience returning. They're stronger in the weight room. John Samuel Shanker sharing with us that everybody, he's not the only player, but they're all PR and in the weight room.
Yeah.
Everybody's the strongest they've ever been. And they feel really good about it. That bodes well. Now, the other teams lifting weights too, I understand, but I just think the way we were doing it before put them at a disadvantage against teams that not only have strength, but speed as well.
Right.
The Georgias and the Bamas of the world are strong and fast. So if you're just fast but weaker, you're at a disadvantage. And if your coach calls a bad play, what can you do, man? What tools do you have in the arsenal if you're the weaker guy and they've got you figured out? Sometimes it's just football, man. Sometimes you just got to put a hat on a hat and win. You need to be strong to do that. This team is going to be stronger in year 2.
Exclusive TV says third down conversions is crucial or will be crucial.
Third down and manageable is crucial.
Yeah.
No 3rd and 16s. Stay third, and we can use every play in the playbook.
Yeah, Coach Harsin said that himself. When you go, well, if you're not a patron, then you probably didn't hear him say that. But our patrons got an opportunity to hear him when we did the film review talk about his, the offensive philosophy surrounding, winning first and second down and how that helps you in third down situations. It wasn't any rocket science, but you definitely got an opportunity to hear how he thought about that situation. Third and manageable, of course, is what you want to be in. Brian Harsin didn't invent that, but he definitely echoes that sentiment.
Yep.
Good sentiment to echo for sure. Jonathan Harris says, appreciate you, man. We need them all this year. The championship teams at both NFL and college always had 3 or 4 backs that could tote that rock. Running back by committee, basically. And he's right. He's right. And I like, again, I think our running back room has improved, at least on paper, going into this season. We got 4 guys that we can use in different scenarios, and so it doesn't have to all be on Tank. We can use Jarquez. Sean's going to be pretty good in short yardage. I'm curious to see what the young freshman is going to look like. So we got some talent. And then there's Jordan Ingram. We're not going to forget about him as well. So we got some guys in that room for sure. All right, guys. Corey Dub asks, real talk, how good would Petrino been at AU if Jetgate didn't happen? In other words, they never got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. What would Auburn have looked like?
I don't see. That's tough. That's a tough question. We had him as an offensive coordinator in 22.
He had aspirations for a head coaching job, so I think he would have stayed and played the game. But apparently, Petrino was always going to flame out because he flamed out at Louisville the first time. No, did he leave at the peak and took the Atlanta job, right? When he was supposed to be coaching Vic?
Yeah, he left Peak and took the Atlanta job.
So he flamed out. He didn't even try there. He quit. And then he flamed out at Louisville the second time around. We wouldn't have
only place he didn't really flame out was Arkansas, but he got fired when he got caught up in that scandal.
Right. That's what it was. Yeah. He wouldn't have been the long-term fix. Now, how long does it last? Maybe we don't go undefeated in 2004. I don't think.
Right. But, I mean, listen, I think he had longevity at the time, right? Yeah. Which is about 10. I think he had 10-year potential at the time when he was. Little story about Petrino. So when we played Penn State in the Capital One Bowl that year, I was setting up his laptop in his room because that was the last game he coached for Auburn as offensive coordinator. And he was accepting the Louisville job while I was in his hotel room. I heard him and I was like, this guy, I don't know about this guy. And then we scored like 13 points in that game. It was not a great offensive performance. It felt to me like his mind was elsewhere. I don't think his mind was in the game, because he was bragging to people that he just got the job at Louisville. I think he was good with quarterbacks. I think he knows what he's doing with quarterbacks. So from that aspect, we may have been better. But who knows how the team comes together in other areas.
Right.
Because Tuberville was good at managing other aspects of the team. So
it's hard to say what our defense would have looked like under Petrino. That wasn't really prioritized under him. Ed Darby does say here, and good to see you, Ed. He says we probably have had better receivers if we got Petrino, of course, because passing was definitely optimal under him. So for sure, we would have definitely had some good receivers.
I think Devin Aroma should would ditto that when we've talked to him. He just felt like, Petrino knew what he was doing in the passing game, so there would definitely been more opportunities, which means receivers are like, hey, I want to go there. They pass the ball. You didn't come to Auburn back in the day to catch passes. You came to block and maybe make a big play every once in a while.
Sure. Jeremy Redding says, whoa, Mike G. The kick six was a fantastic play. but that was not an improbable game. We didn't snatch victory from the jaws of defeat in that one.
The play itself was improbable.
For sure.
Right,
Yeah,
is what I meant. Like the improbability of them deciding to kick a field goal instead of go for the Hail Mary at that point, or literally anything else. And then the idea that we were going to catch that ball on the back line of the end zone and then run it all the way back. It was very improbable.
And
was improbable.
if that game goes to overtime, I'm not confident that we win.
We lose.
Overtime.
We lose if it goes to overtime, in my opinion.
We only had so much defense to spend in every game that year. Once we were spent, that was it.
Yeah.
But to the point I will always make about Nick Saban being a great program builder, but not a great head coach, you put somebody faster on your kicking team for that instance right there, or you don't kick it. Because actually, somebody brought this up to me years ago. As they were coming off, the coaches were walking to the middle to shake hands right after, they rush the field and stuff like that. He pulls his headset off and goes, "I told you." Somebody on the headset was like, "Hey, no, we'll be fine," apparently. Or it at least crossed his mind that, listen, they got a guy on the goal line back there. Let's do something different. But he just didn't do it.
But we did not have a guy on the goal line when they called timeout.
Mhm.
Trooper Taylor said, "Hey, let's put somebody back there just in case they miss it." So that was actually a better adjustment on our part than it was on theirs, because we didn't have the foresight the first time. Oh, yeah, not Trooper. I forget the name of the coach there. One of the assistant coaches talked about how they were just like, "Hey, coach, let's put somebody back there to catch it just in case." But
now you got me thinking who it was now.
I forgot who the coach was.
Yeah.
Trooper was gone, though. You're right.
All right. Appreciate that, Jeremy. Tony Baker, we appreciate that. I actually went back and found what you put. I'm assuming this is it. I'm extremely happy. We have Al. Speaking of Al Borges, I'm assuming. So thanks for that, sir. Also, Corey comes back. Wow, Corey.
Straight up.
Does the 04 AU team beat the 2010?
No.
We did this as a facts or not once before, didn't we?
Yes, 04 beats that team.
No, it wasn't a facts or not. We've had this debate.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah. 04. If all you have is Cam,
that's all you need. What are you talking about? All we had was Cam all year.
Cam and Nick Fairley is basically that entire team.
That team, yeah. I'm gonna give the edge on running backs to 04.
Sure.
You got to remember. You got to remember, if Fairley didn't disrupt that offense, we were really vulnerable.
Yeah.
Teams scored.
Yeah, I think
the
2004 team is a better overall team.
Yeah, it was a better team, which is why. Yeah, that's just why I say they beat them.
Easily.
I think they beat them.
I don't think they beat them. Who is going to tackle Cam Newton? Tuberville's 04 defense, like many of his defenses, were fast and undersized.
Right, but you
could
get
tackling Cam Newton? Tell me that.
But who's stopping Cadillac and Ronnie? And it's not about stopping Cam. It's about them.
Oh, it is about stopping Cam.
That 2010 team gave up more points than any other national championship in the history of college football. It would have been a scoring match, but I'm telling you, I would give the edge to the 04 defense to come up with a big play than I would the 2010 defense to stop 04.
I never saw anybody stop Cam Newton in college, and I'm sorry, I don't believe that.
We had the best cornerback in college football that year.
Yes, but does it matter? Is he tackling Cam Newton? Is that what you're telling me?
Cam still had to throw.
That team gave up how many points? That Auburn team, that 04 team gave up what? How many points they gave up a game? Was it almost 10?
It was 13. They were ridiculous, man.
They were not a shabby defense at all. They were really good.
You know how I see that game going if those two teams played? About how the 2010 Iron Bowl went. Because we would, for 3 quarters, we would have loaded up to stop Cam the way that they did, Alabama did. I'm just not sure that they recover. Because that 04 defense was historic, man. I got to give those guys their due. We were solid everywhere on that defense.
Linebacker. The issue would have been, do you have enough possessions to win that game? Because they're going to just run the ball and run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. If they get a couple of stops, they're just going to play keep away.
Yeah.
And again, Nick Fairley is amazing. He's amazing. They're just going to run away from him.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
That's what I'm saying. If he didn't disrupt the offense, you pretty much was able to do what you wanted to do in our defense.
Yeah, man. Those Goose game, that Arkansas game that year was wild. So was the Georgia game. Yeah. So I'm like,
yet we prevail. Cam Newton was never stopped in college. I don't know why you see or forecast that happening.
But they never
That 2010 team didn't get stopped in college.
I mean, 2014.
Season 2014 didn't get stopped in college.
Yeah,
that's fair. I'm saying the physical makeup of that team, especially that our offensive line in 2010 was as good as Auburn had traditionally under Tuberville, which was 3 years. Okay. 4th year, we're good. That was a senior laden offensive line. I think they would have been able to move the ball on the 04 team. I'm not saying they would have run up and down the field on them, but I remember really Cam's Heisman play was running away from an all-world cornerback.
Yeah, but you got to remember too, they beat Mississippi State that year 7-14, and Cam did not put up all-world numbers in that game.
He ain't got to do it every game.
But
you just got to do it.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys this.
Versus 04, it's over.
Let me ask you guys this.
If he does a lot of things different on a game-to-game basis, all we have to – who is Cam Newton?
Let me ask you guys this. How much time does these teams get to prepare for each other? Do they get a week?
You get a week.
Yeah, 1 week.
Okay.
Get a week.
Does that change? Because
Gus's game plan is going to be the exact same. So,
right. 04 Chiswick figures that out.
But 04 Chiswick is also chipping in on defense on the
where does Chiswick do in this game? Does he
that's a good question.
Where's Chiswick
coordinator in 2010 though?
He was contributing to the defense.
No, I'm saying
2010. I have that on fact from somebody who played on that team. Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. He's a defensive head coach. Of course he's contributing, but he's got a defensive coordinator.
He's helping.
Every time Chiswick has been a coordinator, the defenses look competent. Our defense looked a little
they weren't. So he was contributing all the points we gave up in 2010 too.
He adjusted well.
He didn't adjust shit.
He did.
There it is, right there. There it is.
It was coming.
They gave up so many points. God, dude, they gave up so many points that year. Oh man.
Show on that and just break down who we think would like that. That is amazing conversation, but we got to keep moving, guys.
Cam had some really regular games. I'm just saying.
Here now we down playing Cam.
Okay. Cam had some regular games.
The single greatest college season from one quarterback carrying the entire offense.
Guy, dude. You're talking about a team full of first rounders, and you're telling me these guys couldn't possibly get a win versus Cam?
The fact that the team was full of first rounders, proves how valuable Cam Newton was and how unstoppable he was, because that team was not full of. As a matter of fact, I've heard you espouse, even though they weren't these all-world players, how reliable the wide receivers were on that 2010 team.
I'm not arguing offense. I'm talking about the defense. Cam is not on defense. He was not stopping anybody from scoring. And to Ike's point, if Auburn is effective running a ball against a team that gives up a ton of yards and a ton of points, you limit Cam's possessions, and that's how you beat him. You keep him on the sideline. 04 team could have done that with Ronnie Brown and Cadillac. They could have done it. You get behind like you did versus Bama, and then ground and pound, 3 yards in the cloud of dust football. They had the big boys up front to match with anybody. The Marcus McNeils, those guys were good on O-line.
They were
versus the 2010 O-line. Come on, man. Listen, I've been consistent about this. In 2010 and 2013, quarterbacks like Cam and Nick Marshall definitely made those O-lines look better than they were in actuality. When you go back and you look at the numbers, they gave up a ton of pressure, and it took all-world athletes to make defenses play honest. So people are so shocked at how bad our O-line is now. And I'm telling you, they've been bad almost all of Gus's tenure.
Mm-hmm.
Let me not say bad. They've been about this level about all of Gus's tenure. They've just been covered a couple of years by incredible athletes at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we had Stidham, 36 sacks. 36 sacks that season they gave up in 2017. So you're not telling me that 04 defense could not have slowed Cam down just like that Bama defense did. He didn't have an all-world game then. I don't think any team does nothing, scores 0 points for 2 straight quarters against the 04 team and comes out with a dub. No way. No way. I'll die on that hill.
Exclusive TV. Exclusive TV says Cam would have ran over the 2014 respectively.
We saw Cam kill linebackers all year, but you telling me the slightly undersized linebackers who would have been safeties elsewhere were going to just stand up to him for
You're
4
talking
quarters?
like Cam didn't have an off game all of 2010. We could see the numbers. He definitely did. If he put up Mississippi State numbers on 04, they lose. Flat out.
Again, my argument has nothing to do with Cam Newton. It has everything to do with playing keep away. It is all control offense and a superior defense. 2004 wins,
which Auburn actually basically they did that in the Sugar Bowl. Basically,
for sure,
they did that in the Sugar Bowl.
And if he plays like he did in the national championship against Oregon, they probably lose to the 04 team. Completely under. I mean, we did
now what we're
on
doing
offense.
is we're taking the absolute worst performances from somebody during a year and saying that is the game they have to have in this scenario.
When you're going up against a complete team, they're relevant.
Saying that they have to play.
You're saying nobody stopped them, but you're saying nobody stopped him. And I'm telling you, we have record of games where he was regular, and then you're talking about putting him up against the best team in Auburn history and saying Cam runs all over him. Come on, man. That's disrespect.
I'll give you a better. Here's a better question. Here's a better question. At what point in the season do they play? Because by the end of the season, nobody stopped him. Now, early, mid-season, mid-conference, sure. We had some dicey games. By late, we did not. The offense was complete. The offense was humming. The one credit to Gus Malzahn. When it clicked by mid-season, and then we never stopped. If we are playing them after week 10, 2010 wins.
I don't know about that because 24-0 in the Iron Bowl still happened on Cam's watch. And I will take 22 guys playing solid football over one guy being Superman against a really good team. I'm sorry.
I don't know how you make the case for 24-0 being bad without mentioning that they came back. You know, let's you know what? That's fine. We lost 24-0, Mike. You're right. That's what happened. Then the game ended. But look
at his numbers, though. I don't know.
For the record, Mike Giddens is here to downplay Cam Newton's impact and value. He says that he's overrated. Mississippi State and Kentucky is all that happened.
The best
For the record, y'all hear this?
Auburn history.
Man, I'm cutting this up on pod. I'm posting it to Twitter.
No chance against Cam Newton and nobody else. Give me a break, man. Jason Campbell, Cornell Williams, 4 first rounders. Versus one guy. Come on, man. I'm taking 04 all day, every day.
I'm loving this, but we gotta move on, fellas.
4 first rounders versus one guy.
Wasting my time. I gotta put my son down. He gonna get in bed late because you talking this nonsense.
He's gonna ask you why you such a disappointment, man. After you put him down, Daddy, why you disappoint me like that on today's broadcast?
Best moment poll.
Rick says pre-2010 best moments poll. My vote: Rudy Johnson 4th quarter carry against Wyoming. Pre-2010 best moments.
Yeah, I have to. Man, I can't just
pick
one of those out.
Yeah, it's hard. Mine would have been 01 Auburn beating #1 Florida. It's Jordan Hare on the last kick.
Yeah,
with no time left.
The Trey Smith game at Bama was amazing. It's too many.
It's a lot of good moments.
Yeah,
Brian mentioned when we beat Florida in the swamp. That was a big one.
Yeah.
Some of the LSU matchups we've had in Jordan here. So I don't know.
I'm coming for your job, bro. Watch out.
Walt Taylor asks, did you hear Caddy talking about Borges and the story about Tubbs bringing him in on the Harsin podcast? Haven't checked it out, but
we'll huddle with Hars later.
For sure.
See all this content we producing, man. We ain't got time to be listening to no podcast, man. No, I'm just playing, but yeah,
we just make them.
We just make them. That's all. Jeremy Redden says the thing that would scare me about the matchup for the 2004 defense is the smaller linebackers. That's basically was what B's point was. Did you just put this in here, B?
No, it's been there.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
Yeah.
The smaller linebackers trying to tackle Cam. So
Yeah. All right.
I ain't gonna talk about it no more.
Lolly Wenzel says,
I think
did
there's
y'all
been
watch?
plenty said.
Did y'all watch the Oregon State coach in his presser week? Not one word congratulating Auburn. Didn't even mention them until there was one direct question. Did you guys see this?
Yeah, listen, the salt was real. It was real.
Again,
And-
to Mike's point, I think they thought that they were going to walk
And
through Auburn.
appreciate that, Lolly.
Thank you, Lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, I think they in their minds they were headed to Omaha the minute they drew Auburn at home, and they were like, "Oh, we're good."
Yeah. And then they lost the chess match because you didn't put your ace out game one. You lost it, and then you lost the series.
I
Yeah.
don't know if that's so. The reason I don't understand the value of playing your ace game two is because he's only going to play one game in the series.
Right.
You
That doesn't
need
make
every
sense.
win. Like, there's no reason
Yeah.
to put yourself behind the 8-ball
No.
in the first game. Win
Zero.
the first game.
Where's the first game?
Because
Get the
now
momentum.
every
Yeah.
game you have to win.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. Yeah, if if it was a 24-hour bug or whatever, fine. But he said himself in game 3 when they interviewed him randomly in the middle of the game that he was completely fine. That
Hey,
he's like,
can-
oh yeah,
can
I felt fine today.
Can we talk about that crap for a second? They interviewed that one dude for a whole inning. A whole inning. Jerky
You're
or
talking
whatever
about,
his name.
yeah.
They literally interviewed him for a whole inning, and I was like, "There's a game going on right now. Why
Yeah.
are we listening to this interview?"
And he wasn't even really paying attention to the questions they were asking because he was trying to watch
the game.
He was just
Right.
like, oh yeah, because when you pitch, you gotta pitch good and it's a good pitch right there. Yeah, you gotta throw, man, you gotta throw strikes, and that's what I just try to do. You get ahead in the strike count, and then you strike them out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, it was the
no
most
value.
that was useless. Like, I mean, I didn't even understand why they tried to interview Butch Thompson during the game. I was just
Why?
like, why are you making a person who needs to be concentrating on the game focus on answering questions from you right now? Seventh
no
inning
one cares
stretch,
about.
record an
And no
interview,
one
and
cares
then
about.
play it back during the. I don't know. Do something like it was. ESPN woefully underproduced that entire series.
There was a point in the game where there was a hit to the outfield, a catch, and we saw none of it. The camera was on something else when the ball was hit, and then they switched to the outfielder after he caught the ball. I just didn't understand. Somebody on Twitter made an excuse about the size of the ballparks and not as many camera angles and all that. I'm just like, I'm sorry. Like, when I was in college, we used to do, they used to lend us to the baseball team every once in a while to do coaches film. It is one of the easiest sports to film. Baseball is one of the easiest sports to film because mostly they just want to see everything. But if you're a cameraman, you have a singular focus. And if you have a good director, I just don't understand missing whole plays. And it was just terrible. And then the one announcer, all he did was wax about Oregon State the whole time.
Yeah, it was.
Talking
There was,
about
there was
the
a
distance,
lot
and
of.
I'm just
There was
like,
a lot
come
of
on, man.
pedigree stroking going on.
Right.
For Oregon
And
State.
that's what it is. They're traditionally a good baseball program. Jerpy is projected to be a high draft pick. So all of this is kind of like, let's hype up the future stars because that's what people really came to see. They just didn't know they were here to see something else. They just didn't know it.
Yeah,
And
I think for them it was I don't think it was just Oregon State. I think a lot of people it was a foregone conclusion.
Corey
Oregon State was
Weber
going to
says he was a
ultimately-
Pac-12 announcer.
Yeah, man, screw that guy. Dude, do some homework, dude. You're a professional. And in a game 3 that was close, I could understand if the game was like 8-0, we were getting run off the field, off the diamond, and they were like, all right, let's go to some in-game interviews. This is boring. They do that in every sport. If you're getting blown out, they're going to talk about something
they're going to find
else.
something else. Yeah,
that was
sure.
absolutely not the case in any of these 3 games.
No.
I didn't get it.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's Great dialogue. I feel like we're going to have to revisit this 04-2010 conversation later when we got time to really duke it out. But guys, we hope you enjoyed that little bit. I tell the people why they need to be a patron in the offseason.
Listen, if you are not already a member of our team here with the War Rapport, you need to go ahead and do that because you're getting early access to a lot of content. Listen, members have already had a chance to see this Al Borges interview that is going live tomorrow. Members are already getting an opportunity to hear the John Samuel Shanker interview. So if you're not a member, you are far behind the 8 ball on what we've got going on. And John Samuel Shanker is just super relevant because he played baseball as well. We talked a little bit to him about his experience playing baseball and what it's like this season, not being out there with the guys playing baseball. So a very good interview from him. $5.99 will get you to a patron level. We will have more film reviews coming up, so you want to make sure you are on board for that. If you didn't get an opportunity to win something today, then you can just go to our merch store. You can purchase that. TheWarReport.com is where you can go to get that. Purchase some of that merch. That Omaha shirt will be live in the store before the end of the night. Again, I just kind of came up with that while we were on. I was like, oh, let me just. I saw them put something up about it when we won, and I was like, oh, I should make a shirt about that, and so I did. So yeah, there's that right there. We are partnered with the Lee County Humane Society, as always, to hashtag Save the Puppies. Make sure that you go and give your donations there. It's in the About section of our YouTube channel. Also on our website, you can click that and give something to the GoFundMe to be able to do that. The Auburn Express is where you can get your podcast content from the War Rapport. The Auburn Express, powered by the War Rapport. All of the great conversations that we have, we're taking those, we're putting them over on podcasts, as well as podcast exclusive content. So make sure that you are locked in right there with the Auburn Express to get that sort of thing. And then just a quick shout out to our guys. Since we had a lot of blood pressure rising today, my back's feeling better. I was able to get a little Rogue Shop in my system. You guys need to head over to rogueshop.com. Use code RAPPORT to be able to get a little something off of your purchase there. They are great partners with the War Rapport, and we hope that you all continue to support them. And last but not least, we also have our partners, Chill Boys, that are out there using code RAPPORT. You can get a discount, 15% off of your purchase there to be able to support the people who support us to continue to bring you this great content.
Indeed. And guys, before you get out of here, you know what to do. Share this video on your social medias. You see the hashtag, please use it. Also, be sure to like this video, guys. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Guys, we're on Instagram, posting pretty regularly, as well as Twitter. If you want to interact with us there, you can go follow us on Twitter and IG at The War Rapport, Facebook as well. You can also find us at TW Rapport on TikTok. Guys, be on the lookout for some great content dropping tomorrow. We will see you guys at this weekend. But until then, have a great rest of your week. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle. Michael's wrong.